Pike's pushed more and far and up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah.
It's all about the entertainment, so I hope
everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Coming down, does he have it? He's going to get it. He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Hello everybody and welcome to the Radical Race Series for round 10 here at Bathurst. We've come to one of the most incredible racetracks in the world, Mount Panorama, with all of its history down the years, all of its challenge that it retains even today. What a great venue this is to play out the third last round of the Radical Race Series for the final season in 2023. And what a season it has been so far. Last time out, Luke Maxwell took a big step forward on a day where Simon Edwards could have taken real charge of the championship. Luke Maxwell fought back, gained 6 points on the day and earned himself a 3-point lead heading into this round of the championship, with John McCutcheon and James Barry not too far away either. My name is Ewan O'Leary. I'm alongside James Parfitt here for this one, as we have been the whole season along the way, and this is just as exciting as ever here, James. Bathurst, Mosport and Knock Hill to come for the final 3 rounds of this championship, and we still don't know where this championship is going to go. We still don't know the name of the winner, and we probably won't until the finale.
Yeah, and that finale is Knock Hill Reverse. Let's not forget, it's going to be the reverse circuit. But we're at another exciting circuit here in Bathurst as well. You know, we've got 23 turns of absolute epic racing. That run down from Conrad down into the chase is going to be the one where everybody's going to be making their overtakes opportunities. It is going to be amazing. And of course, we've got the famous Skyline and the Dipper and Forest Elbow, which will claim people, I am sure.
It certainly will. By the way, here today, let's have a look at the championship standings before I get into some permutations for this afternoon, or this evening, I should say, because with 3 rounds to go, in theory, someone can win the championship by this point, but not this season. Luke Maxwell in the lead has only got 3 points over Simon Edwards. John McCutcheon and James Barry are the real contenders, and don't mind that for the moment. We're just going into qualifying, which we'll bring you in a few moments' time. Paul LeMay is ahead of Paul Clark in 5th and 6th place. Then Mike Bousson, who's still looking for that 5th place as well, in sort of a best of the rest kind of situation. Sergio De La Cruz, Ben Underdown and Paul Crabb round out the top 10, with Crabb absent tonight, by the way. James Child, it will be looking to get into it as a result, and the likes of Jamie Bird as well. He's 12th. Then it's Michael LeMay, Darryl Taylor, Wayne Palmer rounding up the top 15. Phil Glover will have taken up a bit of a few places with his performance last round. He's 16th, ahead of Phil Jocelyn. Seth Brown, unfortunately, is out for the rest of the season, so won't finish higher than 18th. Damien G and James Ritchie round out the top 20. Clark Williams and Robert Woodward are next, ahead of Kian Palmer, who made a good another performance last week, actually. Martina Ward and George Gonzaga round out the top 15, and I believe that Gonzaga may well be back after 3 rounds out of the series. Graham Brown, I should say, is 26th ahead of Paul Godden. Then the guys we haven't seen very much this season at all. David Rosden, Tom Minor and Andy Thomas round out the top 30. And another couple at the bottom. Patrick Charlton there in 31st, as well as, I think Crash Max Davies is down there as well, isn't he? With Alan Patterson as well, who have all made performances so far this season. So that is your championship standings, and at the moment they don't seem to be going away, unless that's just the screen that I see. There we go. Don't worry about it, it's fine. We haven't broken everything. We're just getting things sorted for the next few moments, the next 10 minutes, which is of course qualifying, and all the drivers get all the time, well, not all the time in the world, but all the laps in the world that they could ever want. But you don't get many more than 3 around here at Bathurst anyway. A good evening to Phil across the pond and Paul Crabb, who have both said evening to us here in the chat. Paul Crabb not racing here tonight, which is a shame, and may see him drop outside the top 10 in the championship. But unfortunately, James, we're getting to the end of the season where it's expected that numbers go down slightly. It's getting towards Christmas as well. Season 4 is normally where we see the most limits on numbers because of the time of year it is, really.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's coming into that busy Christmas period and everybody's sort of chilling out. You know, I know obviously everything's dying down within the leagues. A lot of leagues coming to the end. We've only got a couple of more races out of these guys, 6 if we include tonight. You know, a couple of others are dying off as well as it's coming to nearly the week 13 again, which will take place, I think it's the 6th of December. So everything's dropping down a little bit. Obviously, you know, it's going to be a busy one for some. Christmas generally is, if you're traveling to family or whatever the situation may be for yourself, you know. So racing doesn't always come priority. Obviously for the likes of Simon Edwards, Luke Maxwell, maybe John McCutcheon, if he can sneak in, if he's not here, which he isn't here at the moment, might obviously get in here as well. But yeah, it's expected. But to be fair, these guys have had a great season with numbers. You know, we've been up over 20, 25 at some points of the season as it's gone on as well. So to lose a few towards the end, it is expected in a league in general. So I don't think nobody's going to really worry about it at all, to be fair. You know, we got the dates for next season. Obviously JPB will be back for next season as well, with myself and Mr. O'Leary, of course, here again, bringing you another season of this epic SR10 action. But I think for this young gentleman on the screen, can he take it? Can he get the championship? That's going to be the question overall.
It is going to be the big challenge and the big question. He's done it before, of course. It was back in Season 3 of 2022. It's been more than a year, although, can you believe it, since Luke Maxwell took that title. as he fought off Simon Edwards right to the end of the season. He ended up taking that, and then Simon Edwards went on a run of 2. Then John McCutcheon did. Is it time for Luke Maxwell maybe to go on a run of 2 championships in a row? I do wonder what we sort of, and we'll just have a look at the times actually here for Luke Maxwell and Simon Edwards. They'll normally set the benchmark for us, and they certainly did in practice. So let's see what they've got for us here early on. Edwards with a 58.6, Maxwell with a 59.2. That's not really representative of how close they're going to be over the course of today. So we'll kind of wait for them to get a bit more warmed up than that. It's going to be a bit closer. But what do we rate about John McCutcheon's chances at this point now? Because he is drifting away slightly. He's 22 points behind Luke Maxwell. That makes him 19 points behind Edwards. And if he doesn't get closer than 17 points to Edwards by the final round, then he can't actually take the title at all, because Simon Edwards actually has quite a strong drop round. So you do have to be careful for John McCutcheon here, and he needs a big performance. It's going to be difficult for him if he continues to have to start from the back.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, though, as we know, Bowles gets it's John's thing on a Thursday, and he arrives late, or sometimes he might get out and arrive early, or sometimes he might not make it, you know, or whatever the situation may be, and that has been a shame, because I think he could have come back and probably defended his crown. He has looked quick. He was quick over the beginning of the season as well, you know, and I think he could have done rather well with it all, but life is life, isn't it? You know, none of these guys are paid professionals. Nobody can sit back and say, I don't have to go to my day job because I'm racing, you know, so they've got to do what they've got to do. And unfortunately for John McCutcheon, he's got his bowls, you know, with the Scottish national team and stuff like that, and his local club, and he's got to go up and do that. And it is what it is. He'll come back next season, I'm sure, stronger. It'll be a close battle once more with him and these Luke Maxwell and Simon Edwards. As I say, there is talk of a split division, but we will find out closer to the time whether or not that's going to happen. But let's see how he gets on. Let's see if John can make it. He's not in the session at the moment, so it might be tough, I think, within the next 4.5 minutes if he's going to jump in.
Improvements coming in from Paul LeMay and Simon Edwards, who have both taken pole. And will Luke Maxwell add to that? No. James McRitchie gets quite close to them, though. He's only half a second away. Up the field goes Paul Clark as well. This is very close. Top 6 covered by 7 tenths. And around a circuit as difficult as Bathurst, that is impressive. As I believe that's James Barry, who was just off the road, wasn't it? I think he actually did have an incident.
Yeah, I think he hit the up by the mountain section here for James Barry. He's come through, he's over the curb, it's velcroed him in, and unfortunately that is the end result for Mr. Barry. So again, another hindrance of a circuit that is well known up that top end, you know, that part of the circuit as we're going up through now. They've got to really be careful. You can wrap it in here, you can keep it tight, you can take some of the curbs, but this is the section. It's fast, it's furious, and avoiding that curb because you will end up in a wall. But you can take a little bit of that one, you can take a little bit of this one, you take lots of that one on the right hand side. Good night Vienna, as we saw for James Barry. Coming straight on the brakes. Now this is where you're just plunging it in here, Ewan. You're just literally throwing it through. Second, third on the way out, touching fourth, then back down through the brakes again. Off the throttle you go, and then we come into the famous Forest Elbow, of course, and now we're on that run again. That section, I can't express to people how tough that actually is. It is a very tough section of racetrack there as well.
It is very difficult, and I can't really believe how close Mike Bootson, was getting to the walls there. It was remarkable as he plunged his way downhill, and even over the top actually at Reed Park. It was very close to the or Sulman Park I should say. It was very close to the wall, even on the right hand side as he was opening out the corner. So we'll see what the lap time's going to be from him, because there's no improvements from the top 2. It'll be last chance for them. James McRitchie consolidates his position on the second row with a 58.7. What about Mike Bootson? He goes into the 58s as well with a 58.9. That gives us 7 drivers within 6 tenths. This is a remarkably close qualifying session considering the venue that we're at.
Yeah, definitely. We've got Robert Woodward topping out on a purple in Sector 5. So he's currently the fastest man in that section. Paul LeMay's done a fast sector in Sector 2. What is Woodward going to do when he goes over the line? Here as well. There he goes. Is he going to break 59.5? It wasn't faster, but Paul LeMay there as well. I do love Paul Crabb. We found out when his bowls finished and made sure he could not make qualified.
I'm pretty sure they pushed qualifying later than it has been in previous seasons.
we did. We took it back.
Earlier.
We took it back. So maybe they'll go again. I don't know. Maybe it'll be 9:10 or something. I'm not sure what they're going to do. But this is Paul LeMay.
I think.
Was it
Yes,
9:10 and they brought it back?
the,
No, they brought it. Yeah, it was 9:10, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I was going to say. I think the race used to start at 9, and now qualifying does. I think is the difference. Something like that. Anyway, I can't really remember. It's a long time ago now. I've slept since then. Paul LeMay will be over the line first. Then of the main three, James Child and James McRitchie are not going to be improving. Neither is Paul Clark. But similarly looking, of course, Paul LeMay will look to improve here. What's he going to produce? Maybe an improvement here. Is it enough to take him to pole? It is. Paul LeMay goes to the front with a 58.3, but it's not by a big margin at all. 21 thousandths ahead of this man, Simon Edwards, who goes over the line now to retake it, but he can't. He can't quite improve. He misses out by about 700ths on that lap, and Luke Maxwell surely isn't going to be able to. Absolutely not. And at the very end, Paul LeMay has stolen pole position.
Yeah, he did. Edwards didn't get a good exit out of the last corner. Neither did Luke Maxwell. They both put the throttle down and didn't quite make it through. Phil Glover puts himself inside the top 10. A stellar job from him. And then we've got Bird, and then the last man over the circuit will be over the line. Sorry, will be Robert Woodward. But yeah, Paul LeMay, absolutely stunning. He completely nailed it through. Luke Maxwell hit that throttle coming out in the final corner, got a big old swirly on, and couldn't make it over that line, of course, as well. So a top one for him. What's Woodward going to do? 59.2 there as well. So no real improvements as Paul Clark just runs out the last 5 seconds here.
Just getting the extra practice in, really, is Paul Clark. He'll be starting from the mid-pack in the danger zone as you go down towards Howe Corner for the first time this evening. Race 1 coming up, of course. It will be just 7 laps around here due to the very lengthy nature of this circuit, but average speed around here. So relatively quick races, not a long time for Paul LeMay to hang on ahead of Simon Edwards, James Barry and Luke Maxwell. All championship contenders inside the top 4 again. James McRitchie and Mike Booson share row 3 ahead of James Child and Paul Clark. Jamie Bird and Robert Woodward will round out the top 10. Phil Glover will look to break into that as he did last week. Sergio De La Cruz is in 12th ahead of Darryl Taylor, Phil Justin and John McCutcheon has made it in time to come up from 15th. How difficult is that job going to be though here at Bathurst? Yeah, I don't really know what to say. He's going to have to get an amazing start. Then he'll have to pick up as many as he can on the first lap down the Conrad. Then he's going to have to do the second lap and the same the third lap. And hopefully that rely on the fact that LeMay, Edwards, Barry and Maxwell are fighting it out. Paul Crabb, that LeMay bloke just gets better and better. He does. He has been stellar this season, I think, Paul LeMay. Better than you, Paul. That's just rude, isn't it?
No, sometimes the truth is the truth, Ewan. You have to tell them the truth sometimes.
I don't mean that. I mean, if Paul Crabb had been here for a whole season, I think they would have ended up very similar in the championship, actually, in terms of points. But anyway, that's a discussion maybe for later. The lights will come on for race 1 here at Bathurst. Just 7 laps round here. And Paul LeMay, after taking a late pole position, is going to have to defend from the front here down in towards Howe Corner. It's a good start, and he's got such a good start, he's even able to pull onto the racing line in towards turn 1. Up they go, now mountain straight towards turn 2. Simon Edwards already with a very good run, and he looks in the slipstream, looks for the lead as they go side by side. Unfortunately for him though, through turn 2, the outside is not the place to be. Is it a low downforce setup though? And it will carry him round the outside, Edwards. Can he deal with the camber? Not quite. He gets up on the curb. He's still got the inside for the cutting, which might give him the place. They go side by side into this very famous mountain section. And Paul LeMay does hang on ahead of Simon Edwards, but only just about.
Yeah, he has there as well. We got a bit of a freeze issue on the timing screen, so bear with us while I try and sort that out. Paul LeMay got an absolutely stellar start right at the beginning. Simon Edwards lost out, coming round up through the cutting, and unfortunately for Edwards, that's put him into the grips of Luke Maxwell. LeMay has opened up about half a second here at the moment as well. There has been an instant down on the back. It looks like Clark and Bird have had a coming together, and Woodward's jumped straight to the pits. So we will try and have a look back at that one as soon as everything settles down here for this first run down the Conrod. It's going to be LeMay, but can he hold back from Edwards? They've got a long run now, Ewan.
Got a very long run down Conrod straight towards the chase, and we know how strong Simon Edwards is in these kind of situations. He's very difficult to pass. He finds it relatively easy to make overtakes himself, and the inside of the chase he goes. Wow, what a move this will be. Outside line in the braking zone. There's very nearly contact, as there was down towards the hairpin at Jerez. In fact, a very similar sort of situation in the battle. And Edwards now has gone from attack to defence because Maxwell's on the back of him. Then James Barry and Mike Booston is here as well. The top five come over the line absolutely together.
Yeah, nothing between these guys at the moment. They are fighting it out. They're on the nose of James Barry. He's chasing down Luke Maxwell. He's going to sit back and see what is happening here as well from all of these guys. LeMay's on the defense once more. You can see on the right hand side Edwards trying to tuck in behind him. Maxwell trying to go as well. Now Barry's on the defense. He's just parked his car in the middle of the circuit there, Ewan. There isn't a lot for Bousson to be able to do, and behind that we got McRitchie and Child going at it, and Glover and McCutchinson also going at it here with Dela Cruz and Jocelyn and Taylor scrapping it out behind that as well. So Darryl Taylor looking up the inside if he can. I feel Jocelyn not this time around, and he's going to have to sit there. But for this man, he is under pressure at the moment, and he's under pressure from that yellow 118 machine of Luke Maxwell behind as we're on lap 2, second time up through the mountain. Are they going to survive? And is LeMay, going to hold on to this 8/10 gap?
Well, it's a tenuous lead he has at the moment. Less than a second around here is not a lot at all. John McCutcheon, by the way, has made up 7 places so far, and as you say, Robert Woodward so far, I believe, out the race, or in the very least is having to get repairs done to his car at the end of lap 1. As he said further back, there seems to have been an incident between a few of the drivers, and that contributed to 3 of John McCutcheon's 4 places on the opening lap, and there's the aftermath of it. Woodward has clearly been in the wall before this, and there's 2 others behind as well. I wonder if they're related. I thought I saw smoke on the way towards here. It was Robert Woodward, who seemed to get in the wall on the exit of the cutting somehow.
Yeah, he did. He got into the wall, he exited the cut, and this is what happened to Paul Clark with Jamie Bird. They're coming into turn 1 here. Clark, well, I'm not sure what the situation was.
That's awkward. Oh dear.
Yeah, they just kind of got stuck together, and neither of them could turn there.
Well, yeah, Clark was on the inside there trying to defend, but I think he broke too late, and obviously Bird's stuck in that situation. He's on the outside. He can't stop himself from being on the outside at that point when you're committed like that, and unfortunately, they both ended up in the wall. Kind of an awkward one, really. Side by side between Barry and Bousson again is all we're going to get in towards turn 2 this time. Further back, James McRitchie and James Child are fighting it out again. McRitchie hangs on again, though, and remains ahead in 6th position. There's John McCutcheon, though. Another 2 places up for grabs here.
Yeah, if he can. He's not massively far away from this battle of Bousson and Barry. They're kind of slowing each other up at the moment. There's a lot of spits of as if they're hitting the wall. Obviously, there's been, a 1.5 gap at some points. Yeah, but you can see it there with Luke Maxwell. So it's all getting very, very tight. The pockets of groups appearing. McRitchie, Child, McCutcheon, Cruz, Glover, Jocelyn, Taylor. And then, of course, you got the front guys there, the front 5. So we've got 1, 2, 3 pockets, 4 fights going on at the moment, with Bird and Clark further back in 13th and 14th. So it's been a very interesting one so far as well. It's all about what this man's going to be able to do, coming down here, of course, and on to the Conrod and chasing down that livery of Simon Edwards that we are so accustomed to.
We certainly are. Rob Woodward, by the way, saying his car was unsettled by a bump on the opening lap, and that's what sent him into the wall, by the way. What's going to send Luke Maxwell down the inside here? Well, it's the presence of Simon Edwards in front, who goes way deep on the brakes. Surely, oh, he's got it stopped as well. How has he managed that? It's unbelievable from Simon Edwards. Maxwell tried to capitalise, and now surely Barry is going to be quite close. Here goes Paul LeMay very nearly on the inside of the final corner as well, but that was unbelievable. I did not see that coming at all. Simon Edwards breaks as late as you could possibly want to into the chase, and he's got the position. Surely he's going to be able to hold it as well into turn 2.
Yeah, looks like he did. He sent it in there, and he sent it in so far. LeMay saw it and couldn't get out behind him to capitalise on the fact that he's gone deep, and he did go deep here as well. Don't do that, Paul. Come on, smarten up there, dear sir. Just hold now, sit and wait, sit behind him and see what you're going to be able to get, because there's 5 cars here. You're going to lose one place, Ewan. They're going to have to be careful, because he could end up losing more, and he doesn't really want to lose anymore. McCutchinson's cleared Child. He's just cleared Richie as well. Looks like Richie may have been into the wall at that point as well, I think. So McCutchinson's now in 6th, 1.4 behind Mike Buson, who's got James Barry in front of him. There comes McCutchinson over the mountain as well behind it. So it's going to be very, very close. For Paul LeMay and Luke Maxwell, they've just got to stop fighting now. If they don't stop fighting, they're going to be in deep trouble, and Simon Edwards will get away.
He might already anyway. He's got a bit of a gap, I've got to say, and I know Paul LeMay was brought back at even under that similar sort of gap, but even so, I don't think the same it can be said of Simon Edwards here. I know Luke Maxwell does like this circuit, does like Bathurst, but how much can he do to close a 1 second margin at this stage in the race already? Coming towards the end of lap 4, we're well over halfway now, and Luke Maxwell is going to struggle. Surely he's going to have to do the same as to what Edwards did last lap, but LeMay is wise to that now. He sticks it to the inside. Maxwell stays very close though through the chase, and surely there's going to be a chance into the final corner. He'll look to the outside, thought he was going to dummy that and go to the inside, but no, LeMay squeezes him as much as possible. Round the outside goes Maxwell. LeMay gives him about as much room as he could get away with as well. Now Maxwell will go back to the inside. No, that position is not going to be possible either. I think he's going to have to cut his losses here, Maxwell, except that this race win is gone, and just fight for second. Just get this right, and eventually he will do. A better exit on the exit of turn 1, and he has the inside line now and the place as well, surely, with James Barry closing in. He wants to go through as well. Inside line of turn 2, James Barry makes the position on Paul LeMay as well, and the podium places change.
Yeah, it is. And do you know where that stemmed from? Paul LeMay come out of turn 1. He hit that curb on the right-hand side. He spun that. He got the right-hand side loose, and that SR10 was snaking, and that allowed Maxwell to get the run and Barry to get the run as well. And now for LeMay, he's put himself under pressure from Buson. All of a sudden, it just looks like LeMay's lost all either confidence or ability or pace. Is just gone out of that SR10, and he's now down into 4th. So it's all about what Maxwell's going to be able to do and whether or not he's going to be able to catch Edwards, and Barry's losing time as well, but it is whether or not Maxwell's is going to be able to get him. But we've also got the Scotsman, of course, with a man that we call the William Wallace of the SR10, who never gives up anything. He is sitting in 6th place, up 9 places at the moment. Buson's going to get the run on LeMay. LeMay just got that all wrong there, and now LeMay is under deep pressure, and there goes Maxwell through the middle.
3 wide.
Yeah, McCutchinson through the middle. Job done.
Through the middle. Yeah, through the middle goes John McCutchinson, and Buson's going to gain here as well, surely. Paul LeMay has to back out of that through the chase, and John McCutchison's up to 4th now. So the top 4 in the championship are now the top 4 in the race as well, albeit in the wrong order, as far as the championship is concerned anyway. It's Simon Edwards leading the way by 1.4 seconds ahead of Luke Maxwell, who's kind of gotten rid of James Barry. And then there's 1.6 back to McCutchinson, who has not done a bad job at all from 15th. That's 11 places gained so far, as I believe Maxwell's got it slightly wrong out of turn 1, actually. He's just gone a little bit wide, but I think he's got away with it. Yeah, he should be all right. So top 4 are now the championship 4, if you like, the 4 that can still win the title from here. But as it stands right now, the Simon Edwards and Luke Maxwell would be tied on points.
Yeah, will be. Barry's got Maxwell down to about 0.7. Maxwell's got Edwards down to about 1.2. That's what they need to do. LeMay's just got past Buson there as well. Not to say, not entirely sure what happened here with Paul LeMay. Paul Clark is just about to try and go up the inside of Darrell Taylor. Nothing happening there as well. It also looks like Phil Glover's had a moment here. Now, whether or not this was all on his own or whether or not Darrell Taylor had something to do with this, these guys, oh, well.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. That was a big crash. A huge accident at the chase, unfortunately. It shows the dangers of going side by side down there, really. And I know it was a very different look to the battle, but makes Simon Edwards' pass down there all the more impressive, doesn't it, really, for the lead on Paul LeMay as he dove down the inside, braking almost impossibly late. I didn't think he could get it stopped.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to either, but he definitely did. He carried out a massive amount of overspeed and managed to get that car stopped here. Buson's now going to have a go at Paul LeMay once more, and they're coming down in that same place, down the Conrad straight into the chase they go. LeMay has got nothing to defend, really. Buson's just got to keep that car up and running, and away he goes. Second to last lap, coming to the end of which will be the final lap here as well, and now it's going to be 1.1 seconds. He's pulled out another couple of temps there over Simon Edwards as Luke Maxwell. We got it down to 3 temps. Could be close, depending on how much he's going to carry through that mountain.
I think he could have done with a lap or two longer of this race, I've got to say. I think he's going to run out of time. As you say, 3 temps gained on that last lap, unless there's a mistake, though, from the 5-time champion. I can't see Maxwell getting back on terms here. And that was a slightly wide line through turn 2. Don't think John McCutson's going to get to James Barry either, I've got to say. The battles have kind of shaped the last couple of laps in this race for this top 4. I think we've realised from this that the top 4 are really very similar on pace. And if they get like this in the second race, where they get through the field at different times, then it could be separated for the remainder, because they don't seem to be able to catch or lose time to one another.
Yeah. That's the thing, they're near enough, same on time, aren't they? 58.58. You know, we've got a 58.2 for Maxwell, 58.5 for Edwards. We know Edwards runs barely any wing. I'm not sure whether or not he would have put anything on here at Bathurst, to be honest with you. Most of it is fairly manageable for him, and I don't think he probably, if he has, he's probably got minimal. But I think Edwards could take this one for race 1. I'll keep an eye on times further down, because I don't know if Hutchinson will end up getting Barry. I think he's just a little bit too far back. He is coming down 6 temps, 7 temps here as well. You see it on the left hand side, coming down and down and down and down and down, now half a second. But I think at the moment we are going to be looking at the race 1 winner right here.
Yeah, in the end was able to weather the storm from Luke Maxwell and just hang on to this position by quite some way in the end, actually. Simon Edwards, winner of race 1 here at Bathurst. He ties up the championship now with Luke Maxwell in second. They come over the line, the top 4 as a championship 4. And with 5 races to go now in the season, things get ever closer as Luke Maxwell and Simon Edwards are now tied on points going into the second race. What a crucial reverse grid race we have coming up this evening.
Yeah, top 10 reverse, don't forget there as well, guys. If you're sat at home wondering what's going to happen, Bird and Clark were close together since they made that contact on lap 1. Phil Glover is back out, but he's all the way around coming down through Forest Elbow, and the last man running will be Phil Jocelyn, and this is why Phil Jocelyn is back that far. He got it all a little bit wrong coming up through the mountain, I believe, and buried it in there into the wall. That was the end for Phil Jocelyn. So yeah, we've just got to wait for Jocelyn to come over the line. He's coming back through that mountain section once more.
Going to take him absolutely ages. Oh, Bill, be careful. You're on stream. Don't crash because everyone will see. But yeah, that was the first of the 2 races. As you say, we've got the reverse grid top 10 coming up. That will put Darrell Taylor on the pole alongside Sergio De La Cruz, which will be interesting, of course. I think that this race, though, is going to be a case of How quickly can that top 4 get through the field? Because I can see one of them winning this second race, to be honest.
I can, and I think there's only one man that could possibly get there. And I think it's possibly going to be... I reckon McHutchinson is in with a big shout. Massive shout for race 2. To be honest, I think he is... Well, to come through the field like he has done and gained 11 places, I think that is just absolutely incredible. So I think he could be on for a win here as well. So just waiting once more for the overlay to decide that it's wants to work. We are having some issues on my internet around here at the moment. So there we go. You should be able to.
It's been very nice today.
No, it's not. It's not, to be fair. But yeah, let's see if I can give it a little bit of a hurry on in the process. Because as I say, it's not helping us out particularly today. Although you can't see the results on the left-hand side, to be fair. But anyway, that's fine for now. I was going to say it would be nice to get something. But at the moment, it's decided it's not going to do anything, so that's great.
We'll
there we go.
sort something out for the second race. Yeah, here we go. But we are in warm-up, by the way, for the second race of the day, and these are the results from the first. Simon Edwards the winner by 1.6 seconds in the end, actually. We're gaining another half second on that last lap. Luke Maxwell, James Barry, John McCutcheon at the class of the field, really, in the end. Although Mike Booston, Paul LeMay, James Ritchie, James Child, they weren't far away. Sergio De La Cruz and Darrell Taylor will be on the front row for this second race. Paul Clark just missed out after that early spin with Jamie Bird at turn 2. Phil Glover and Phil Justin had their own incidents, and Woodward only ever completed one lap from that race, unfortunately. Hopefully he has a better second one. Yeah, very interested to see how they're going to get through the field. Clearly overtaking's not that difficult around here, but I imagine that staying on the road and getting through these opening laps really crucial for these championship contenders.
Yeah, it's got to be done, and it's got to be done cleanly. I think that's one of the things they've got to be looking out for. You know, it's got to be done in a nice, clean way without making anything crazy. From turn 3 right the way down to 18 of Forest Elbow, I think if you're going to jeopardise yourself going side by side, unless that person's made a mistake, I think you are in for a shock. And again, you probably shouldn't quite be going there on that one. But let's bring you up the grid for race 2.
As I said, it's Darrell Taylor alongside Sergio De La Cruz on the front, with James Child and James Ritchie on row 2. Ritchie with another good starting position there, actually, as he did even despite his qualifying position. Paul LeMay and Mike Booston will be on row 3, and ones to watch from there, ahead of John McCutcheon, James Barry, Luke Maxwell, Simon Edwards, the ones to watch, of course, with regards to this championship. Paul Clark and Paul Crabb. Paul Clark and Jamie Bird will be on the next row, ahead of Phil Glover, Phil Justin and Robert Woodward to round out the 15 drivers on the grid. I don't even know why I did that, because Paul Crabb isn't even in the race, but anyway, he said his name regardless. The second race then of the evening, set to get underway. Another 12 laps in front of us at Bathurst. And Darrell Taylor gets off to a good start from the front. What's going to happen towards turn 1 for everybody here? Oh, it's chaos in the midfield. I think Paul LeMay has got around, and James Barry has as well. At the 4th of the championship contenders already involved in an incident. This is what happened as LeMay pulled inside of a 3-wide moment here. He just gets pinched a little bit, I think, goes for a spin. James Barry gets caught up in it, unfortunately, and the rest of them skip around. That is such a shame for Paul LeMay, who drops to the back. Yeah, and the thing is as well, it's now got 1.1 second between Maxwell and Bousson in front of these guys. So for Bousson, he can play a massive part here with Maxwell and McHutchison. Maxwell's up 4, McHutchison up 1, Edwards is up 3, of course, from that incident. Barry's into the pits. That killed his second race opportunity, but Darrell Taylor opening up nearly a second over McRitchie with Cruz on Bousson. It's now on what Maxwell and McHutchison are going to be able to do, and whether or not Edwards is going to be able to capitalise as Bousson hits the wall. Bousson's hit the wall. And this could be disastrous for Mike Bousson and John McCutcheon as well. Side by side go Maxwell and McCutcheon through. And Simon Edwards could make this 3 wide between 3 champions of the series. What a moment this could be as Maxwell gets the slipstream of Boost and his teammate not helping him out. And Simon Edwards isn't going to let him in either. Edwards will just tuck himself and box himself in here on the way towards the chase. We look now from up above as Maxwell defends from the inside. It's McCutcheon who goes round the outside. Oh, they're so close to contact. And somehow they get away with it unscathed. That was great racing between them. They know exactly how wide these radicals are. They're so experienced in battling these machines. And they showed it there. McCutcheon laid it all on the line and he come away with it. He has the place ahead of Luke Maxwell.
Yeah, he needed it. He needed it for McCutcheon, as you say. Buson did not help him out coming down that con-run as he gave it all to Luke Maxwell, pulled Maxwell alongside him. And unfortunately for McCutcheon, he's there like, hold on, son, help me out. As Darrell Taylor and James McRitchie are fighting out at the front. McRitchie goes in a little bit deep into turn 1 with Dela Cruz, Buson, McCutcheon behind him. Phil Jocelyn and Jamie Bird are scrapping it out as well further down. But at the moment, Darrell Taylor's doing a stellar job, leading away by half a second.
Well, he is doing a fantastic job for now, but there's still a long way to go. Just under 11 laps now remaining in the race, and James McRitchie has got a good chance of taking another feature race win here. He did so at Spa, I think it was, on his debut, and he's back up there again. Sergio De La Cruz has got the big and unenviable job of defending from the title contenders now. Mike Booson in there as well. Then follows McCutcheon, Maxwell, Edwards. A lot of series champions involved in that. That's what, 9 between them in just the next 3 drivers. Then we've got James Child, who's on their case now as well. Into Forest Elba they go. Sergio De La Cruz's exit needs to be better than it's ever been before, and to an extent so does Mike Poussin's, although he'll have the slipstream help from the grey car just up in front, of course. Then it's McCutcheon in the second of the orange cars, Maxwell in the yellow and black, and then we've got Simon Edwards, of course. It's going to be side by side between De La Cruz and Boussin. McCutcheon follows him. Maxwell chooses to follow De La Cruz, and he gets on the grass briefly. He gets struck behind De La Cruz as well, who makes contact very slightly with John McCutcheon. I think they've got away with it again. Maxwell now on the defensive from Edwards, who's on the outside. De La Cruz looks up the inside again, gets in front of Maxwell again, who's going to be very frustrated by this now because Edwards goes round the outside of him at the final corner and may well have the place. They're going to remain locked together over the timing line again. On the inside in towards turn 1, Edwards has his car very much alongside, but no, he's shoved up wide onto the curb and Maxwell hangs on.
Yeah, Maxwell squeezed him on the out, tried to get squeezed him on the outside there, coming round turn 1 for Simon Edwards. Didn't have nowhere to go. It all started with De La Cruz further back coming down the chase. Edwards is under pressure from James Child now as well, and now McCutcheon has got Buson there once more. Buson even now needs to play a part, or he needs to kind of move out the way and allow McCutcheon to go through. We know, as they say there's no team orders, but I can guarantee from McCutcheon's point of view he's wishing Buson does. Taylor got jumped by from McRitchie, got past Taylor on the way. That gives them 1.4 to Mike Buson and John McCutcheon further back, and you can see De La Cruz is really playing a cork in the bottle at the moment as he's just kind of sat there and none of these guys are able to get through.
Yeah, it's a great job by him at the moment to do what he's doing. De La Cruz all out of sorts there. That was not good at all. And oh, James McRitchie's off. James McRitchie's off at Forest Elbow. He's made a mistake down here. So De La Cruz going wide and making mistakes. And now James McRitchie has as well. I thought he had a fantastic chance of winning this race. But no, it's been taken away from him. McCutcheon will now take that away from Darrell Taylor as Luke Maxwell edges alongside De La Cruz. Does Edwards go 3 wide? He does. Into the chase they go. McCutcheon takes the lead. Oh, Edwards backs out of it. Probably a good idea, really. Maxwell down the inside of De La Cruz, who has not given places up so far today. And Edwards looks to the outside again. He can't do it there. And he's going to have to look at the final corner because James Child is right there. He's almost going to be forced into making a move. Edwards breaks late. He gets alongside and he gets the position as well. Up to 4th position. But they can't do a lot about John McCutcheon, who's leading now and is getting away with it.
Yeah, he needs to get on his bike now, does Hutch. I can tell you that much. Sergio De La Cruz defended like a warrior against Luke Maxwell and then leaves the inside open for Simon Edwards. He's going back at Edwards once more. They're coming over the crest now, down into turn one. I think he's going to have it unless Edwards with a late block on James Child. He's managed to carry that speed up through turn one. Child's going to get De La Cruz. He's not going to allow Edwards to get away. Edwards is trying to move away from these guys, but they're just not far enough away from him to lose that draft. And James Child now is trying to keep De La Cruz back while trying to attack Simon Edwards, and that is not easy here as well, as we got James Child in behind him. He's chasing down De La Cruz now as well, so it's all getting very close in that midsection.
It is very close indeed, and people have got, podium places up for grabs, top fives up for grabs. Robert Woodward's done a great job, for example, to get onto the back of these guys now. And he's in 8th. De La Cruz, gets it wrong down the dipper again. Don't think he's enjoying this section of the racetrack at all. Oh, James Child, what's gone on there just up in front here? It's what's happened to... I don't really know. I thought I saw someone off the road, sorry, but no, okay.
No, you did see right here for James Child.
Yeah, I thought I saw something. Yeah, I thought it was going mad, but something has happened. He's down the dipper, and he just goes for a speed. Yeah, I thought I saw someone off. James Child was the one. Oh, and Robert Woodward has hit the back of De La Cruz in front of him. Or was it Jamie Bird? It was Jamie Bird in front of him, probably. But his front bumper's still there, so it's fine. Jamie Bird flies down the inside now, and he has the place. Robert Woodward will go through as well, as De La Cruz is shipping places very rapidly now. Not entirely sure why either, because he has decent pace, but just keeps getting overtaken. Now, latest in the list is going to be Paul LeMay, who gets very close, has made quite hard work of this. Into the final corner, he very nearly made contact on the way in towards that turn. Now he'll go for it at the L corner and should have more joy there, and does. Inside line position gained for Paul LeMay. What a nightmare this has turned out to be, but what a fantastic midfield battle we're seeing here.
Yeah, De La Cruz has been involved with most of it. Unfortunately, it's normally resulted in him being overtaken, unfortunately, for De La Cruz, and he is looking like he might just lose another place there as well. I thought he had the pace, and clearly he over the race pace, he just kind of hasn't. Darrell Taylor trying to hang on from Luke Maxwell. I think from Taylor's point of view, play the game here, mate. If you from Maxwell's point of view, Maxwell's in a 158 last time. Taylor's in a 159. I'm not saying Darrell needs to roll over and let him through. What I'm saying is think smart. It might be worth losing one place to Luke Maxwell and still staying ahead of Simon Edwards. Jeopardising your race, trying to defend Maxwell is only going to bring that pink car and purple car that we're seeing in the background into play. So for Darrell Taylor, it's all about being smart, I think. Get through the mountain, let Maxwell go, and see if you can follow him on from there.
Well, let's see. I think Darrell Taylor's going to do well to hang or keep Luke Maxwell behind him for any longer than this now. He's done a good job to be where he has done so far, but we're not even halfway through yet, and Luke Maxwell pulls alongside on the Conrod Straight and is even clear by the chase. So through goes Luke Maxwell. Darrell Taylor doesn't bother coming back in him at the next braking zone either. He'll save up his reserves, you'd imagine, for a defence of his position ahead of Simon Edwards, who is a couple of seconds further back, 1.6 seconds further back to be precise. Can Darrell Taylor hang on to the podium, I think, is the next question. I still don't think he can.
No, I think Edwards is going to have to jump on him. We'll see over the next lap what it will be. Taylor at the moment is registering a 2:09. Edwards is 1:58 and Maxwell's on a 1:59. So for Taylor, he kind of leaking time from somewhere. We've got Paul LeMay, Robert Woodward and Jamie Bird in the background. You can see them as they're coming towards us. You can see the very up and down of Bathurst, running down that first opening straight, of course, coming into turn one, which is Griffin's. Again, not a corner you really want to try on the outside. From Paul LeMay, he's just kind of got to sit there and pick his moment of when he's going to be able to get through on Woodward. It's not going to be now. It's got to be down that Conrod Straight. I think that's probably where, if anywhere where LeMay is going to make it, that's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I think so. It's certainly not going to happen over the top of the mountain here unless there are severe problems for someone. Over the top we go now in towards Sulman Park, which is this left-hander, then McPhillamy, another left-hander just over the top as you go over that rise there. and now down the hill, over Skyline, in towards the Dipper in a couple of moments' time as well. The gradient here quite phenomenal, especially on the inside of that turn. Still plunging downhill at quite a rate here, by the way. And then into Forest Elbow, even more of a steep decline. And now out onto the Conrod Straight again, where we continue to rise and fall. But all over again, it will be slipstream time for Luke Maxwell. He's nowhere near. Paul LeMay it is. We're running on board with, and he'll get straight through on Robert Woodward, and that is a good pass, but not a particularly difficult one in the end for Paul LeMay, who goes straight through and straight into 6th place.
Yeah, he's done where we said he was going to do it. One of the interesting things is Darrell Taylor did lose that place to Simon Edwards, but again, we kind of said that might happen as well. So I don't think that, the fact that Edwards got past Taylor will be reflected on this lap, I'm sure. 1:58 for Edwards, I think it was, and for Taylor there it was a 2:1. He did a 2 minute actually, so another 2 seconds for Simon Edwards. So he's just kind of trying to hang on now to Jamie Bird, to that 4th place in front of Bird. You can see Bird, he's still got LeMay up for company once more here, so we'll have to see what happens with Darrell Taylor, whether he can hang on. But at the moment, this Scotsman, it looks like he's got it wrapped up there, and I think he's done an absolutely exceptional job for a man that, considering he started from the pits. Bird and LeMay now swap positions with Jamie Bird going up the round the outside, coming into the cutting.
Well, this is going to be, I think, the focus of the rest of the race. I think this midfield battle should entertain us throughout. That was quite close. We're seemingly getting a lot of people getting very close to the wall. And not sure why our racing has decided that smoke comes off of barriers when they're hit, but anyway. It seems to be the case today.
Yeah, I can't answer that. No, I can't answer that question. I know. Oh, Bird got it all wrong there, though. Unless they see it, it's just rubbing against the wall, which is obviously concrete, and dust may come flying out. Excuse the tower blinking here as well. We're not entirely sure what's going on at the moment. There just seems to be a lot of errors and things. We're trying to do the best we can with what we have. As Paul LeMay, JB Bird go down Conrod Straight once more.
Yeah, I think LeMay's going to have this. The straight line speed should win this battle. You saw that with Woodward earlier. LeMay was able to breeze past. Does Jamie Bird have a little bit more legs in a straight line? No. And through goes Paul LeMay into 5th place now, ahead of Jamie Bird. Then it's Robert Woodward in the pink just behind, and catching up a little bit is Sergio De La Cruz just for the moment. Fastest lap of the race, by the way, goes to Luke Maxwell, as they're setting a very good pace at the front of the field, but not fighting with one another, which is really what we're interested in here. Should be a good fight for the rest of the race. As I said, 5 laps to go, including the one that we've just started. LeMay now through to 5th place, and I just wonder whether with that position now he'll be able to stay there for the remainder of this one. He just seemed to have a slight bit more pace than those around him at the moment.
Yeah, but he should have had a lot of pace in the first race, and just kind of ended up going backwards, unfortunately, for Paul LeMay. So it was a little bit of a shame. I don't. He kind of had more potential than what he was showing. As you can see, Robert Woodward getting up the back end of Jamie Bird, who we are on board with here. So it was a bit of a shame for Paul LeMay. I thought he had a lot more pace than what he was showing in race 1, and he didn't. Oh, Woodward's gone round at the top of the hill.
Oh no, Woodward! Oh, it's a very similar region as to where he went off in race 1, under slightly different circumstances, admittedly. And De La Cruz does well to get around this, and so did everyone, actually. Is he going to carry on here? That'd be amazing if he was able to. Surely there's got to be damage on that car. I don't know whether there is. This is.
I think that's going to be a little bit far back, unfortunately. I was trying to find the Robert Woodward moment. And see if we can get a little bit of a better picture. This might help us out a little bit more, actually. We might have to hang on a few seconds. As you can see, Bird going around the outside of Paul LeMay. And then this is
the lap before, but we'll just wait and see. I think this is the lap before, but we'll just wait and see whether this is the unfortunate incident for Robert Woodward, who has now crashed out of this position. Yeah, unfortunately, it is the lap before. So it may be a bit tricky for us to find the actual incident itself.
The problem is it's here somewhere, and unfortunately I think we just get the end of it. and then he's in the wall, so it's a bit hard to catch. There he is there. So unfortunately there he's just kind of in a bit of no man's land. JB Bird has also managed to get through, but everybody's, well, they're well spread out at the moment. Mr. Woodward has had another moment here as well, coming down now into the chase.
Oh dear.
Goes straight off, unfortunately.
It doesn't work anymore, Robert. The gravel's been changed. You can't jump over that wall anymore. And he's
shame.
gone back to pit lane, unfortunately. There must have been damage, I guess, after that incident.
Yeah, I think he must have been. To be fair, I think he must have had a little bit of damage there as well. I'm trying to see. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch it without hitting a rewind button, but I think, yeah, Woodward has had to jump back to the pits now.
Yeah, he has, and that will be maybe the end of his day as well. So Bathurst has bitten, and it's bitten quite a few, I've got to say. James Barry came into the chat early on after he unfortunately is out of the race, and now maybe out the championship as well, not mathematically, but he is now, 44 points adrift of Luke Maxwell. So it is still possible for him to win the title, but difficult for him to. He said was really looking forward to that. James Ritchie was frustrated with himself, also was enjoying himself out there. I can imagine Robert Woodward was feeling the same, and maybe Mike Bouston as well, but it's just a difficult circuit to get round, unfortunately, and it's one that does not take two mistakes lightly.
No, it definitely doesn't. Bathurst, you hit a wall, you hit a curb, you hit anything, unfortunately, at certain points of the circuit, and you're going off. You know, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you're able to try and succeed and get on with. It's just one of them things here at Bathurst. It's such a tricky circuit, one that people love, and I do love Bathurst. I think it's a great circuit overall. It just, unfortunately, has so many bumps and lumps and that as well, and it just causes problems. So it's a bit of a shame, but going forward, it's Bathurst. We know what it's like, but we need a full safety car, says Paul Grab. Yeah, I think I can agree with you about now, because everybody's very, very spread out on the top six. The only one close is Cruiser Bird, which is who we're looking at right now.
Yeah, and so we'll monitor them. I've done the championship calculations if things were to stay as they are, by the way, and Luke Maxwell would indeed take a 4-point championship lead into the final 2 rounds. John McCutcheon would be 21 points behind Maxwell, and crucially only 17 behind Edwards. So that would mean he needs to score more points than Edwards at the penultimate round at Mosport to stay in title contention, and he can't afford to lose many to Luke Maxwell. He can't afford to lose 7 or more to Luke Maxwell, so needs to be careful of that at the penultimate round at Mosport, but he's still involved. James Barry is a good 23 points, even behind John McCutcheon, so unfortunately I reckon he could be out of it now, although not mathematically. I think realistically it's going to be difficult for him. Once again, do the points really matter at this stage? Not entirely. Maxwell and Edwards are just going to keep this close right to the end, it looks like.
Byrne and Dela Cruz going at it there around the Forest Elbow. I think it's great. We could end up with a three-way fight, you know, going into the final couple of rounds. The final round at Knock Hill Reverse. And it's the reverse circuit, mind you. You're not going normal. I think that's probably been confirmed, if I'm not mistaken, that we are going on Knock Hill Reverse. So it could be one that we're going to be really looking forward to. Darrell Taylor has got Paul LeMay, and he's got one more to try and hold LeMay back here. I think this is going to be a tough ask. I think Taylor could end up with 5th being his best bet.
I think so. Well, I don't know. We've reached that time in the race, haven't we, where it's actually feasible to see someone hold on in a defensive position from here until the end. When you see Darrell Taylor caught by someone, or anyone caught by anyone else, at, lap 2 with 10 laps ahead of you, you think this is a tall order, but with only 2 laps to go, it's a lot more feasible. Taylor has kept the inside line well here, despite the fact that LeMay has clearly got more straight line speed. He's been forced around the outside. That's exactly what you need to do. Although he hasn't shut the door entirely, it's still ajar, and LeMay didn't quite want to kick it open on that occasion. He'll stay behind, and Taylor will hang on to 4th, and by the time they get to Conrod Straight, it'll be barely only a lap to go. So it's very feasible for him to hang on from here.
Difficult. difficult with that Conrad straight and LeMay only being half a second. If it was like 1.5 or 2, I might sit back and say, go on, Darrell, you got an opportunity, go for it, son. But I think with LeMay literally coming in 4 temps, 3 temps, I think he's going to struggle down on Conrad. I think it's now for Darrell Taylor just managing to hold on here as well. Difference in lap time, Taylor on a 2:01 last time out, LeMay on a 1:59. So a 2-second gain from Paul LeMay. So let's see what goes on and see how they get on. I think it's going to be tough, and I think this is going to be LeMay's opportunity.
Well, he wasn't as close as I was expecting him to be at this point, I've got to say, but I think he's got some good straight line speed in the bank, which has helped him greatly so far, and I thought he was going to help him more in race 1, actually, to get to a better result, but in the end, it's going to be race 2 where he sees his best result here by the looks of things. He goes through into 4th, and that was a fairly slam dunk manoeuvre in the end. Darrell Taylor not able to hang on, and to be fair, when you do have a lack of straight line speed in comparison to the driver you're battling with, it's very difficult to do anything about the driver behind you.
Yeah, it is as well. Edwards did a 2:01 last time out. Not entirely sure what happened to Simon Edwards there, but he's managed to do a 2:01. So did LeMay. Well, LeMay with 2 minutes, Taylor 2:01. So now it's roles reversed for Darrell Taylor. We'll keep an eye on where John McCutcheon is. He's on his run up now into the cutting. So the left-hander for McCutcheon. There's Maxwell. There's Edwards. I suppose the one that's really kind of shone coming out of this could be Maxwell. 2 second places. Edwards with a win and a 3rd. McCutcheon up 6, so he got, what did he get, 7th and a win, I think, tonight. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one going into Mosport and the final round of the season, which I can't wait for, to be honest.
Interestingly, with a 4 for the first, John McCutcheon only did actually score the most points of this round, or if they stay as they are, of course. Luke Maxwell 2nd, just 1 point further back, and Simon Edwards 3rd, with just 1 point further back from that. So 58, 57, 56, McCutcheon, Maxwell, Edwards, in the order they are right now in the race, actually. So that's the way that the points stand from this round. Be very, very close indeed. By the way, I am starting to play out. Oh, Darrell Taylor, be careful! Wow, he saved it. Well, he's got himself a top 5 at least with that. He's not going to overtake LeMay for 4th, but that was close to a non-finish.
Yeah, he tried. He gave it some beans, didn't he? Good old Darrell Taylor. He gave it a go to try and stay with Paul LeMay. He just couldn't, but McCutcheon's coming over for the win in the feature.
Certainly is. It's a pretty big gap in the end. In fact, only just about top 10 seconds cover the top 3 at the moment, which is a pretty big margin for this series. But John McCutcheon at the top of the tree again. He takes the most points from Bathurst and reels in the 2 ahead in the championship ever so slightly. Luke Maxwell and Simon Edwards come over the line behind him and can be relatively pleased with their evenings themselves. Ever since he got to the lead, I don't think John McCutcheon was looking back for a single moment in that second race.
Yeah, he wasn't. Once he got out in front, that was it. Once he cleared Darrell Taylor, it was job done as everybody else comes over the line there as well. Shame, I thought, Taylor obviously clearly didn't have the pace, but everybody else kind of seemed to get around him. Hutch went and took it, then Maxwell, then Edwards and LeMay. I think that's probably a fair top 4. James Barry unfortunately missing out there once more. That was a bit of a shame for him. But, racing is racing and Bathurst is Bathurst. And it's always difficult. It really is. So, yeah, tough one for all of them, I think.
Yep, tough for everyone. But in the end, John McCutcheon was the second race winner. Luke Maxwell 3.2 seconds further back. I think Simon Edwards slightly gave up towards the end and just cruised into 3rd. Paul LeMay eventually held off Darrell Taylor for 4th. For Jamie Bird, finished fairly lonely in 6th, but that was not after fighting off Sergio De La Cruz in that one. Phil Justin managed to get up to 8th place after a crash in race 1. Paul Clark and Phil Glover round out the top 10. James Child, the last of the drivers to finish. Robert Woodward crashed at Reed Park. James McPhillamy crashed at Forest Elbow. Mike Booson also on the same lap with James Barry, not even completing 1 lap at the end of that race. So that is it for the racing here at Bathurst tonight. Luke Maxwell was very quick to join the interview waiting room, so let's bring him in now. Welcome in, Luke. Good to have you with us. A decent day for yourself, only losing 1 point to John McCutcheon, gaining a point on Simon Edwards. How would you rate your evening overall?
Stressful. Definitely stressful. I think no, good result. I was hoping to win one of them, but Yeah, it's tough. I mean, that second race, those first few laps were just it was proper hard work trying to race, keep your place, not make a silly mistake. Oh god, it was stressful. So yeah, really, I suppose second overall. I was trying to put the pressure on John at the end there, but he had too much pace. I think once I was out of his tow, I think he was quicker than me going up the mountain, and then I was probably a little bit quicker down the other side. But it was a good race, but might have been a bit boring, I suppose, in the end. The second one as the laps developed.
This is what I was going to ask, really. As you get through the others who are not championship contenders, I feel like the gap between the three of you, or the four if you could include James Barry as well for the first race, I suppose. Yeah. The gap between the four of you and the rest of the field has not been more pronounced for a little while, actually. And that's been proven, especially in the second races. What happens in your mind when you get to that situation where when you passed Darrell Taylor for second, you saw John 3 seconds in front of you, you saw Simon about 3 seconds behind. What's your mindset at that point? Do you already know that, I'm not being caught and I'm not going to catch anyone at this point?
I think as soon as I got past Darrell, I thought I'm going to really, really push for the next few laps. And I did. And then I started to make mistakes and drop back a little bit. So then I think I settled into a rhythm thinking, well, yeah, unless John makes a mistake, there's no catching him. And I think Simon might have made a mistake near the end. But it wasn't too bad. I saw him lose about 2 or 3 seconds, I think, on the penultimate lap, maybe. But yeah, he managed to hold on. So you're kind of thinking, well, you got to keep pushing because John was setting some pretty impressive lap times. So I had to try and keep the pressure on and not make any silly mistakes. I think obviously thinking about the championship and what can you do? It's very, very tight. We're all there or thereabouts. So just to retain a little bit of a snifter of a lead is enough.
Yeah, you're 4 points ahead of Simon Edwards now, which is one more than what you come in with. What are your thoughts on Mosport going into the next week now as a result of that?
He likes it there, doesn't he? So
I can't remember.
Yeah. Simon likes Mosport. I think that's one of his favourite tracks. So if I remember right, I might be wrong, but we'll give it a bash. See how we go.
Certainly will. Look forward to seeing you there. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Luke, before we let you go?
Give a shout out to you guys. Great job again. Really enjoy watching the broadcast back, and quality's really, really good. So keep up the good work.
You don't know what we've done this week yet. Okay.
Don't give it away already. Jesus.
I think I'll watch you back now.
Thanks very much, Luke. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
Thanks very much, Luke Maxwell. There at the end of a consistent evening for himself, I suppose. But let's have a chat to the 2 race winners, of course, starting with the feature race winner, John McCutcheon. Welcome in, John. Good to have you with us. Second race was a good one for you. Certainly tell us about that opening half of the race, really, because you were, like everyone, really, had it all going on. Lots of passes to make and positions to fight over.
Yeah, the first 2 or 3 laps were interesting, a lot of fun. A lot of defending and fighting my elbows out, getting my place, keeping my place. Good. All good, clean fun though. There was no incidents that I can recall.
No. Same hit. Well, single people incidents, but that happens at Bathurst because of the nature of the circuit, to be fair. What about the first race as well? You obviously come in pretty late as normal, which is what we expect, but we don't maybe expect you to get quite so far up the field. I've got to say, I was surprised to find you in 4th place. I thought it'd be a bit hard to overtake at Bathurst, but you didn't seem to find it too difficult. How was coming through the field?
Everyone in front of me seemed to spin off or crash or whatever. And when I joined, I was glad to see there was only 16, I think, maybe.
15.
Not the usual 23, 24, so it gave me half a chance to get through the pack. And like I say, they all crashed and spun out in front of me. Must have been the fear I put in people.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was, John.
Speaking of... By the way, you will have gained the most points of anybody here tonight in the over the 2 rounds. So what are your thoughts on Mosport heading into the next round now that you are, 21 points behind Luke Maxwell with 2 rounds to go? 20?
Oh, crap. I won't make next week, so I'll need to leave it all to not kill. Am I really 21 points behind? That's
I believe so. As far as are you surprised? Why are you surprised?
Last time I looked, I was 8 behind Simon, but that was maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You must have looked a while ago. I can't remember. I can't remember where that was, but
You see, I pay a lot of attention.
I don't remember when that was. Anyway, yes. But as far as my calculations go, anyway, 21, as far as I can tell. So we will see where that takes you. Of course, by the end of the season. Is there anyone like to give a shout out to, John, before we let you go?
Yes, Ewan. You. When I was playing around the balls. I sent you the link and showed you.
Yes.
Seen you how to play it.
I was learning about bowls. I didn't realise there was. Well, you said there was different formats and stuff. So I was learning about bowls. On Friday. Well, yeah.
Wow. What did you?
It was an education.
What did you find out that if you're under 40, you can't play it, or?
That seems to be a rule, but I don't know that. No, let's not be offensive now. That's rude.
John knows I'm joking. Ageism. Give over.
Ageism.
Bloody ageism. Listen to yourself, sir.
I'll let you guys go on with it.
He's
bailing out now. He's not talking to me. Yeah, I'll probably see you Monday, John. Hopefully.
Yeah, is the league starting Monday? Good. Okay.
No!
Right.
Oh no! We're going to do a dirt race. Coming up some fun on the dirt.
Okay, I'll see how it goes.
All right, man. See you then.
Right. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks very much, John. We'll see you in a couple of weeks as well for next round of the Radical Race Series. Yes, John McCutson, winner of race 2 here tonight at Bathurst. And race 1 was taken by Simon Edwards, and we can chat to him now as well. Welcome in, Simon. Good to have you with us. It was pretty spread out for the most part in the second race, certainly the second part of race 2 anyway. But what about race 1 for yourself? Managed to get to the lead and hang on to it in the end as well. What was that race like? And what about that move on Paul LeMay there? Because I've got to, the chase. Because I've got to say, I thought you were sailing off into the grass when you broke that late, but you managed to pull it up in time.
Yeah, can I admit something to you? I was looking in my mirror at where Luke was, and then I saw Paul braking. so I had to go for it. But yeah, I somehow, like you say, pulled it up, turned it round the corner, didn't wipe Paul out.
So it wasn't even a deliberate overtake then. It was
so measured.
Yeah. I was intending to put pressure so he couldn't turn in. So I was intending to be next to him, but not sailing past him.
It did look so planned, I've got to say.
Yeah, it looks so good.
What were you going to do otherwise what were you going to do otherwise in that race? Because to me, it looked like you were hanging back for a little bit later, although that was difficult because Luke kept challenging you, of course. What was your actual plan before that happened in the first race?
Yeah, I had to make sure I was going to have a good go at him because, like you say, I was hanging back intentionally so I didn't catch him up the hill on the straight because that would put me under pressure with Luke overtaking me. So I was definitely holding back there. And then I was just trying to catch him because he was a bit slower than us in down the mountain and out of Forest Harbour. So I was trying to hold back enough so I caught him on the exit. Slightly mistimed it. But that was my intention. So I wasn't going to run right up his backside and then catch myself out and go at his pace, if you know what I mean. And then Luke gets us both. So that was my intention. How I was executing it wasn't great. And then the second race, I just had one of those.
What happened?
Brain conditions where you just lost your confidence and you don't quite know what you're doing, and your arms and legs aren't doing what you're meant to do. So for the first 5 laps, I was just holding on really and just trying to stay moving forward, but I had no confidence. And then suddenly, boom, I found it again till I nearly lost it on the second to last lap. But apart from that.
So is that where most of the gap came from? Because Luke seemed to think that maybe you had some sort of error like that along the way that created such a good gap. To be honest, I just thought you'd gotten past Darryl Taylor. You knew that you weren't going to be caught by anybody, but you also realised that Luke and John were probably too far away, and you sort of were cruising into the end. Which was there a mistake out there? Which one was it?
It's all right. I realised I was the same pace as Luke without really pushing it. So I just kept his rough pace and just hoping that John made a mistake and Luke caught him, and then I would catch both of them if they were defending. So I was just trying to not get too aggressive and try and catch Luke up because it was too far. It was 3 seconds. And then, like you say, I got a bit complacent and I started cruising in the last 2 laps, or not cruising, but and then in the chase, I just lost the rear end completely, doing nothing. So I lost 4 seconds or something. I just had to lock everything up and and then luckily there was 9 seconds behind me, so there was no pressure.
In the end, it was all right. Is there anyone that's give a shout out to, Simon, before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out to James Child, because in that second race, he had a fantastic run up the hill, and he would have been able to get an overlap on the inside of me, but I intentionally blocked him because he would have sent us 3 wide and murdered us all. So I had to block him and stop his run at me. So
I did see
too
that.
mad at me.
We did see that.
We
yes.
did see that, yeah.
But it was okay. It was just about within the lines of legality, I think.
Breaking zone.
You just about get away with that.
Breaking zone.
It was just before the breaking zone. It was fine. But anyway, we all got away with it. We all lived, so that's fine. Simon, congratulations on a double podium evening for yourself, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, nice track next week as well. So there should be some good close racing.
Luke said it was one of your favourite tracks. Is that true?
Yeah, it's a bit like VIR. It's an old iRacing track from the olden days. And it was always good. Same as Watkins was always a favourite of the early tracks. So it was Watkins, Mosport, VIR. I can't think of others right off the top of my head, but yeah. It's just one of those nostalgic things, and it's good for racing. It's always good for racing.
It is. We're certainly looking forward to it. We'll see you there, Simon. Thanks very much for chatting to us.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Bye-bye.
See you there. Simon Edwards there. Double podium evening here tonight at Bathurst. And finally, of course, as with every week, we chat to Phil Glover as well. Welcome in, Phil. Good to have you with us. Top 10 once again in race 2 for yourself. How did you find your evening at Bathurst?
Yeah, good day, both. It was okay, wasn't it? I guess. Yeah, the last, so the first race I ended up getting hit, I think, didn't I? So I think that put me pretty much at the back. Second race started quite low down, but had a good tussle with Paul Clark. For a few laps, hanging on to him really, until I made a mistake. I don't know whether it was down the chase or something, but I hit the wall a couple of laps from the end. So, but yeah, it was interesting.
It was, and we noticed your incident down at the final chicane as well in race 1. How did that come about?
I don't know. You'll have to remind me. I can't remember that.
Am I thinking of someone else? It was definitely. Was it you and Daryl Taylor or something that when you hit the wall?
Oh yeah. Daryl's apologised. He said that he ran into me. I don't know. It's probably a combination of both of us. But yeah, that was the one I was referring to actually earlier. But
okay,
I couldn't remember where it happened.
Okay. You made me doubt myself as to whether that happened at all or whether that was you. So that was scary. But anyway, Mosport next week. How are you feeling about going there?
I really do like Mosport. It's one of my favourites. So that's probably just cursed that, isn't it? But yeah, I'm usually fairly competitive there. Well, for me anyway. So we'll wait and see. How was the racing for you guys? Good.
We certainly were. It was good racing, decent racing. But it always happens at the bottom of the circuit, doesn't it? It's not much going on over the top of the mountain. I can't imagine you're looking at many overtakes when you're flying over the top of the hill there. It all happens at the bottom.
Yeah, you're just looking out for crashes up there, to be honest.
Yeah, it is always the danger with it. Thanks for coming to chat to us, Phil. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, of course, before we let you go?
I guess to my wife at the moment, she's nursemaiding me. I've got a real problem with my knee at the moment. I'm sat in the rig just wondering how I'm going to get out. It's
Roll.
I can't bend my knee at the moment, so it's. You haven't seen my rig, have you?
I don't think you can roll, James.
Well, you never know. Just fall out of the chair to the side and then scream the wife's name out in pain, can't you? Just roll over and go, "Ah, Doris!" I don't know if she's called Doris. I can't remember what your wife was called, but she just could yell that.
Fiona, yeah. I think the best solution is to get back in the car, head it into one of the barriers, and that'll just eject me out.
Can't bolt you out.
We don't want you to do that, particularly. My word, that's quite a sight. If you don't know, by the way,
as Clarkson would say.
Yes, well, I suppose it's an option, but please don't. Anyway, hopefully we will see you next week, Phil, if you make it out of your rig. And yes, we'll look forward to that. Thanks for chatting to us again.
You're welcome. See you next week. Cheers, bye.
Thanks very much. Phil Glover there at the end of the evening tonight at Bathurst. If you don't know, by the way, Phil has a big motion rig simulator thing that's why he mentions crashing might fling him out the seat because he's got a motion thing. But just to reassure you, that doesn't happen. It shouldn't do, and we're not encouraging him to either. As comical as that sounds, it'd probably be quite painful.
Superman Glover.
Let's no, let's not encourage him to do anything stupid. Anyway, not that I think he would. Anyway, let's move forward. Eyes forward towards Mosport. I've got to say that information that John McCutcheon has given us about him not being here for Mosport is a bit of a shame, because I kind of think that really eliminates him, not mathematically, but kind of morally.
Yeah, it does. It's a bit of a shame. He's going to have to go full hell to leather at Knockhill. But yeah, where does he stand on drop rounds? Has he had his 3?
Well, I've applied all their 3, of course, but the one that would not be a drop round and begin to count is only 39 points. And when you put into context that everybody scored between 56 and 58 points today, all of the championship contenders anyway, all the top 3, then you start to understand that McCutcheon could lose quite some points next week, even compared to the others. Maxwell is in fact, Simon Edwards can actually gain points on him, or actually can't lose points on him, will gain at least 9. So unless Edwards has a really bad day where he loses a lot of points and barely gains any places in any of the races, then I think McCutcheon will be mathematically out of it by Knockhill, which I think is a real shame, because he would have had a great advantage, a natural advantage at Knockhill, which of course he knows a lot better than everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. He races there in IRL, or has raced there, I should say. So yeah, it is a bit of a shame, but as I said, it is what it is with what John does there as well. Can't wait to see the video of you and him having a game of bowls. I think that's going to be quite exciting, Mr. O'Leary.
I've not become a Bowles fan or anything, but he did send me a video of one of his matches the other day. Apparently, Bowles has got 2 sets. Did you know that? 2 sets?
Yeah,
they've got different ends.
Different ends.
Apparently, one of the formats, they've got 2 sets.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
So it's complicated. I couldn't really work out who was winning until the end. I think John lost.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why he sent me that. I don't know why he didn't send me a video of him winning, actually. But maybe that's what I would have done.
Maybe there ain't any.
That's mean. I'm sure he plays for the national team.
Definitely. Him are always good. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Otherwise, Daryl's going to be on to me at the moment. You two going to stop talking.
Sorry, we're just literally just chatting away.
Yes.
So sorry about that. But thanks very much for tuning in once again, including to us chatting, if you like, at the end of the broadcast. We'll be back next week, of course. Subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel for all the other stuff that's going on throughout the week, which there is a lot of course. But for now, we will bid you our farewells. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt. And until we see you for the penultimate round in 1 week's time, it's goodbye for now.